Hello everyone, I'm Amir and you're watching the Saddest Ever channel. This video is about my life in Krasnodar, a city in the south of Russia. Now it's a wonderful time, spring. Krasnodar Spring is one big beautiful blooming garden which I believe everyone should see, and that's exactly why I decided to share it with you. In this video, you will see the beautiful blossoms of different fruit trees, including Negro plum trees in Krasnodar Park, and the most spring-like street in Krasnodar. We will also visit an old district to admire how harmoniously spring blends with it. So, we'll start with breakfast. So, let's go! Today for breakfast I have a sandwich with smoked fish, tomatoes and cheese. I also have some red oranges. So let's eat it! Let's go outside for a long spring walk. Now we're walking in our neighborhood. It's always in blossom here. It's gorgeous, isn't it? What do you think? I really like the design of this bench. It looks beautiful near to the blossoming trees. Nature is truly wondrous, endlessly multifaceted, and full of surprises. When we walk through a blooming garden or along a quiet street lined with blossoming trees, we realize that every detail, no matter how small, carries its own story. Each flower, each leaf, every gentle breeze speaks to us in its own language, reminding us that life is always renewing itself. Spring especially is a season of rebirth and awakening. The world comes alive in colors, scents and sounds, inviting us to slow down, to observe, and to truly appreciate the beauty that surrounds us. It teaches us patience, the patience of a tree growing slowly, the patience of a bud waiting for the right moment to bloom. Nature also teaches us humility. No matter how much we try to control our world, we are still part of something far greater, a living, breathing universe that moves in rhythms far beyond our understanding. And yet in its vastness, it offers moments of beauty, a single breeze that catches the sunlight, the reflection of clouds in a still pond, or the delicate dance of petals in the wind. Observing these moments reminds us to cherish the fleeting, to celebrate the ephemeral, and to find joy in the simplicity of life. Every season, every day, every hour brings something new to discover, a constant invitation to marvel, to wonder, and to feel connected to the world around us. Nature is not just a backdrop to our lives. It is a living teacher, a companion, and a mirror of our own inner growth and transformation. In these quiet moments, we realize that beauty is not only in grand gestures or monumental sights, but in the small, often overlooked details that make life so rich and mindful. And perhaps when we open our hearts and minds, we start to see that every day, like every blossom, is a miracle waiting to be noticed. Sitting here in Karach, near blooming trees, I can't help but marvel at the quiet magic of nature. Every petal, every branch, every soft whisper of the wind feels like a small miracle. Nature has this incredible way of showing us that beauty is everywhere if we only take the time to notice it. The bright green leaves of the bushes and the pink flowers of the trees create such an amazing combination. Every season has its own kind of magic. Spring brings renewal and soft colors when nature wakes up and everything feels fresh and full of hope. Summer is warm and vibrant, filled with long days, bright sunlight, and the joyful energy of life in full bloom. Autumn arrives gently, painting the world in golden tones and reminding us of calmness, reflection, and quiet beauty. And with its stillness and simplicity, invites us to slow down, to rest, and to appreciate peaceful moments. Each season is wonderful in its own way, and each one teaches us something different. They change not only the landscape around us, but also our mood, our thoughts, and the rhythm of our lives. You ask me what my favorite season is, but I honestly don't have just one. My favorite season is always the one I'm in right now. Because when you truly look around, every moment has something special to offer. A color, a feeling, and small detail that makes it unique. And what about you? What is your favorite season? Tell me in the comments, I'd love to know. Nature, even in big cities, is really wonderful, don't you think? Now we're leaving our neighborhood and heading to the most spring-like street in Krasnodar. We'll pass through several neighborhoods and Krasnodar Park, and I'll show you the most impressive blossoms along the way. Nature has a remarkable ability to transform any place. It doesn't matter whether it's a busy metropolis, a quiet village, an empty field, or a simple street. Once flowers bloom and the first leaves appear, everything begins to feel alive. Even the most ordinary corner can become beautiful when touched by nature. A small tree growing near a concrete building, wild flowers on a roadside, or fresh green leaves in a quiet yard. These simple details soften the space around us and bring warmth to places that might otherwise seem plain or forgotten. Nature doesn't need perfect conditions. It finds its way into every environment, gently decorating the world with colors, textures, and life. In a big city, it creates calm among the noise. In a village, it blends harmoniously with everyday life. On an empty lot, it turns emptiness into something hopeful and full of possibility. Perhaps this is one of nature's greatest gifts, the ability to bring beauty anywhere, reminding us that even the simplest places can become special when we take the time to notice them. All these flowers are planted by the people who live in this house. I admire how people decorate the small areas of ground among these tall buildings. It shows how much care and attention can change even the smallest spaces. These little gardens may seem simple, but they bring warmth and personality to the entire neighborhood. In the middle of concrete and glass, they create pockets of life that feel welcoming and human. When people plant flowers, they don't just decorate the ground, they create a sense of connection. Neighbors walking by can stop for a moment, notice the colors, and maybe even smile. It's a quiet way of sharing beauty with everyone around. I also love how these small green corners remind us that nature doesn't need large parks or wide fields to exist. Even a narrow strip of soil is enough for something beautiful to grow. It's almost like nature and people are working together, turning ordinary places into something special. These flowers make tall buildings feel less cold and distant. They soften the space, adding color, life, and a sense of calm. And perhaps that's what makes them so meaningful. They show that even in the busiest urban environments, there is always room for care, creativity, and beauty. Suddenly we saw a whole field of pigeons. It's so unusual for Krasnodar. I really like these yellow bushes, they look beautiful. Spring has always been associated with hope, and it's easy to understand why. After the long quiet months of winter, the world slowly begins to wake up. The first green leaves appear, delicate flowers start to bloom, and the air feels soft and warmer. It's as if nature itself is telling us that every ending is followed by a new beginning. There is something deeply inspiring in watching this transformation. Trees that once looked bare and leafless suddenly fill with color. Fields that seemed empty become alive again. Even the smallest buds push through the soil with quiet determination. These changes remind us that growth often happens slowly and quietly, but it always comes at the right time. Spring also changes the way we feel. The longer days bring more light, and with that light comes energy and optimism. People spend more time outside, notice the beauty around them, and feel a sense of renewal. It becomes easier to dream, to plan, and to believe in new possibilities. Perhaps this is why spring feels so hopeful. It shows us that no matter how cold or difficult a season may be, it never lasts forever. Change is always coming, and with it new opportunities. Just like nature, we also have the chance to grow, to start fresh, and to move forward with a sense of quiet confidence. Spring gently reminds us that hope is always there, sometimes hidden, sometimes small, but always ready to bloom. Now we are near Krasnodar Park. You can see it from one of the side entrances. Now we are in Krasnodar Park. This art object is called Forest Lake. The Negro plum trees will be shown at the end of this video. I really love this view in Krasnodar Park. And now we are at the highest point of the park. In the distance you can even see the train. Do you see it? Walking has a simple but powerful effect on our minds. When we step outside and start moving, something changes inside us. The noise of everyday life gradually fades away and thoughts become calm and clear. Each step feels like a gentle reset, helping us let go of stress and focus on the present moment. During a walk, we begin to notice small details: the sound of leaves, the colors of the sky, the rhythm of our own footsteps. These simple observations shift our attention away from worries and bring us back to what is happening right now. It's almost like giving the mind a chance to breathe. Sometimes solutions to problems appear naturally while walking. Without anxious thoughts, ideas come more clearly, and difficult thoughts become easier to understand. Movement creates space for reflection, and nature adds a sense of calm and balance. Perhaps that's why even a short walk can feel refreshing. It doesn't require much, just time, fresh air, and a willingness to slow down. And when we return, we often feel lighter, more focused, and ready to see things from a new perspective. Now we are in the old district of Krasnodar. These flowers are so unusual. There is something truly special about blooming flowers that always feels inspiring. Every time nature enters its flowering stage, it feels like the world is reminding us of beauty, renewal, and possibility. It doesn't matter where you are, in a park, on a quiet street, or even in the middle of a busy city. When trees begin to bloom, everything around them seems to change. Flowers have a quiet but powerful way of capturing our attention. Their colors, their shapes, and even their fragility reminds us that beauty doesn't need to be loud or permanent to be mindful. It exists for a short time, but during that time it transforms the entire space around it. What makes blooming so inspiring is not only its beauty but its meaning. It represents growth after stillness, life after quietness, and change after waiting. Trees don't rush their flowering. They follow their own rhythm, trusting the process, and this alone can teach us something important about patience and timing in our own lives. When we see flowers blooming, we are also reminded that difficult or quiet periods are not the end. They are part of a cycle. Just like winter always gives way to spring, moments of stillness are often followed by renewal and new energy. This simple pattern in nature can give us hope without needing words. Blooming also connects people emotionally. It makes us slow down, look around, and appreciate the present moment. Even a short walk becomes more meaningful when everything around us is full of color and life. It creates a feeling that something new is beginning, even if nothing in our external life has changed yet. Maybe this is why flowering never stops being inspiring. It speaks to something deep inside us, a reminder that growth is always possible, that beauty can return after emptiness, and that every season carries its own quiet promise of renewal. When we hear the word travel, we often imagine distant countries, airports, long flights, and completely new cultures. But in reality, the feeling of travel doesn't always require going far away. Sometimes we can find it right next to our home, in the places we pass by every day but rarely truly notice. A simple walk through a familiar neighborhood can feel like a journey if we look at it with fresh eyes. Streets we think we know can suddenly reveal details we've never paid attention to before. Unique buildings, quiet courtyards, small gardens, or interesting corners filled with life. Even the way sunlight falls between houses can create a completely new atmosphere. What changes is not always the place itself but our perception of it. When we slow down and observe familiar surroundings begin to feel unfamiliar again, almost like we are seeing them for the first time. This shift in attention turns ordinary movement into exploration. Nature also plays a big role in this feeling. A blooming tree on a street we usually ignore, birds gathering in a quiet yard, or the sound of wind through leaves can all transform an everyday walk into something meaningful. These small details remind us that beauty is not limited to famous destinations. It exists everywhere, even in the most ordinary places. In a way, this teaches us that travel is not only about distance, but about awareness. It is about curiosity, openness, and the willingness to notice what is already around us. When we approach our own city with a traveler's mindset, even the most familiar streets can feel new again. And maybe that is the most important idea, that wonder is not something we need to search for far away. It is something we can rediscover every day, simply by paying attention to the world we already live in. By the road we came across these outdoor fitness machines. It's really hard to train on them. This church looks really beautiful, doesn't it? Okay, we've arrived at the most spring-like street in Krasnodar, Stavropolskaya Street. It's famous for its trams running among blossoming trees. It's a miracle, don't you think? It really feels like a scene from a Ghibli animation. Now it's time to go home, through Krasnodar Park of course, to see the Nigra plum in blossom. The trees smell amazing. I wish I could share that scent with you, but the camera can't capture it. Okay, now we're back in Krasnodar Park. And this is the Nigra plum. You can enjoy the view from above. Can you see the airship in the sky? I really admire this flower growing in the gap of the stairs. The Nigra plum is wonderful. I really love airships, and you tell me in the comments. Now we're at Magnolia Alley. It's amazing here and it smells wonderful. In today's world, silence has become something rare and valuable. We are constantly surrounded by noise, traffic, notifications, conversations, and endless streams of information. Even when we are alone, our minds are often filled with thoughts, plans, and distractions. Because of these moments of true quiet feel especially meaningful. Silence gives us something that noise cannot, space to think, to feel, and to simply be present. When everything around becomes calm, we start to notice details we usually overlook. The sound of leaves moving in the wind, distant birds, or even the rhythm of our own breathing. These small sounds don't break the silence, they become part of it, making the moment feel peaceful and balanced. In silence, our thoughts also become clearer. Problems that seemed complicated begin to look simpler. Ideas come more naturally, without pressure. It's almost as if quietness allows the mind to rest and reorganize itself. This is why a calm walk in nature can feel so refreshing even as nothing special happens. Silence also helps us reconnect with ourselves. Without constant noise, we become more aware of our emotions and our surroundings. We start to appreciate simple things, light, colors, fresh air, and realize that we don't always need excitement to feel happier. Sometimes calmness is enough. Perhaps that is why silence is so valuable today. It reminds us to slow down, to listen, and to find balance. In a fast and noisy world, quiet moments become small islands of peace, and in those moments we often discover what truly matters. Okay, now we're home. For dinner today I have falafel and stuffed eggplant with tomatoes, garlic and cheese. I also have some rice. The sauce is tartar, let's put it on the falafel. It's amazingly delicious. Thank you for spending this spring day with me. Today we walked through blooming trees, enjoyed the beauty of nature, and discovered how even ordinary places can feel special when everything comes to life. From quiet neighborhoods to parks, from small flowers to magnificent blossom, every moment reminded us how wonderful this season is. If you enjoyed this vlog, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what moment you like the most. See you in the next video. Bye!